This presentation was recorded on Menang Noongar Budja, and I respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of this land, the Menang people of the Noongar Nation. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, to the diversity of First Nations people, and to their ongoing culture and connection to Budja. They were the first in this country to hold information and privacy sacred. Sovereignty has never been ceded. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. The content that follows is based on the presenter's experience and understanding, and this video does not constitute legal advice. Organisations that are subject to the Australian privacy principles are encouraged to seek appropriate legal advice to understand their obligations and ensure adherence. Welcome to this video, part 5 of the eSafety for Non-Profit series. In this final video, we will discuss some of your options to try and prevent or at least minimise the impact of a data breach within your organisation. The idea that prevention is better than cure is ingrained in our society, and it rings just as true in information security. There are some simple steps you can take regardless of the type of data you manage or the sector you operate in, which will help keep you, your clients or customers and their information safe. Put simply, the 8 guidelines that we will discuss here boil down to simply making common sense decisions about what information you store and how you manage that on a day-to-day basis. Limit what you collect, take security seriously, engage professional assistance, cultivate information cynicism, plan to respond, educate your team, audit, review and update, and monitor your practices. The most basic guideline, but likely the most difficult to implement in reality, is to limit the amount of data you have to the bare minimum your organisation requires to perform its role. If you don't need the information, don't collect it and don't store it. Storing information properly, as we've learned, can be a cost and manpower intensive process. Besides, if you don't have information to steal, it simply can't be stolen. Stick closely to your disposal policies for the same reason. If information is able to be disposed of, don't delay. Get rid of it properly and immediately. In 2024, most people are aware of the importance of basic computer security. This goes for all aspects of information safety. Take security seriously. Ensure your staff know their obligations, such as running Windows updates when they are available and locking computers when they walk away. Keep your IT systems up to date using professionals if you need to. Finally, if you can, look at implementing password policies across your organisation, making sure that everyone understands the importance of not reusing passwords and using multi-factor authentication such as key-ring code tokens or authentication apps whenever you can. It is absolutely vital to know the limits of your own knowledge, and every organisation can't be expected to be stocked with data security professionals or legal advisors with specialties in information management. By engaging with professionals, you can ensure that you are not missing anything that will cause you headaches in the future. This can also extend to outsourcing data storage to external providers, as long as you keep the privacy principles in mind. Working with professionals may be an expense you think your organisation can't afford, but help for non-profits exists in all these aspects. Check with local volunteer organisations and business incubators who may be able to point you in the right direction. By keeping and encouraging a certain amount of cynicism about your organisation's security, you will be vigilant about the likelihood of a breach and will be able to be prepared for it. Ensure your organisation has a breach policy, for example, and work with staff to ensure they are trained on cybersecurity basics, especially in regards to social attacks such as phishing attacks. Planning for a disaster ensures you are prepared to handle it, and by ensuring you have a response plan that is up to date and, if possible, rehearsed, you will be able to respond quickly in the case of a breach, which will, in turn, minimise the damage the breach causes. It's also part of ensuring you meet your obligations under the Privacy Act and privacy principles, as it shows you are taking reasonable steps to protect the information you hold. Your volunteers and staff are the front line, your eyes, ears and hands on the data you are protecting. They are also a potential point to be exploited by social engineering attacks, unless they are trained to be aware of them. A static policy is an ineffective policy. Policies and procedures without regular reviews often are laxly enforced, or the processes or legislation they're intended to track can change so they are no longer effective. Regular audits of your policies and procedures can find gaps, weaknesses, and potential improvements that will increase the security of your organisation. Just as policies and procedures need to be monitored, your real-world interactions with data need to be checked on occasion as well. This can find issues such as processes that are being incorrectly followed or skipped, or are inappropriate for the requirements of the organisation, for example. Keeping data security as a priority rather than an afterthought means it does not necessarily need to be an onerous process. It becomes an automatic part of the data management process of your organisation. Limiting your exposure, being proactive, educating your team and engaging experts when necessary, all of these work together to make your organisation a safer and more data secure place. Thank you for watching this series, eSafety for Non-Profits. Thanks to the Foundation for Rural and Regional Renewal and to the Albany and Regional Volunteer Service Incorporated for making this series possible.